Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Hari Om to everybody. Nobody is responding. Hari Om, can you hear? Can you hear?
Yes, it's audible, Swamiji.
But
Swamiji, we are able to hear.
others are keeping quiet. Hari Om.
Maybe Swamiji's volume is off. Swamiji's volume is off. Swamiji's volume may be off. No, Swamiji's volume is on.
You take mobile and go there and hear.
From there it is audible, no? I did it. From this laptop it is audible.
No, we will speak from Swamiji's.
That's what I could hear from the laptop, Swamiji's voice. That means it's audible.
Others are not getting.
Oh no. I put my phone in.
That's what you see from there. We will just say something. Others from here you can do.
Swamiji, try using this laptop instead of that.
Remove
that one. Put this there.
any one of them can do.
One of them can be used.
Let us wait.
See this, Swamiji, try this.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Swamiji.
You can. So what is to be shared today?
Points that go help us to go inside further, Swamiji.
Fridays we could not.
Papa said, when we are repeating the name of God, we must be conscious that we are repeating the name of one who is within us, who is our true being and existence. For the past few days, Papa has been drawing our attention to the fact that unless and until we make use of the chanting to remember him, the chanting will be helpful to a limited role. Chanting is for remembrance. Remembrance part that he answers, that the one who is our true being and existence. Effort of whose name we are chanting. this manana should go on along with chanting. Otherwise, it will slip into a mechanical, superficial, lip level exercise. And we also know we have been chanting for decades now. He did the chanting only for 2 years and he could scale the heights. Okay, we are not in that state, but still 30 years, 40 years, 50 years we have been chanting. Have we been able to feel his presence? So now when we take stock as to what are the hurdles that have denied me, in spite of my getting some joy while chanting, the real purpose is to remember him. Remember him means the moment I remember him as the subtle and mysterious power behind the activities of my body, mind, intellect, I will always feel his presence. Though it may not be possible for us to bring that in. So what we are trying now is somehow how to remember. What do we mean by the word remember? Suppose we see a person after a long time and he says, "You remember me?" Then we try, yes, we met you in Delhi. Right. What has happened at that time? So remembrance means we had our previous experience and we are trying to bring that previous experience. So here the mind pleads its inability that it has no previous experience. So that is why remembrance is a problem for all of us. So in order that we get over that, Papa introduces the world who is our true being and existence. Whenever we say we remember, we see an object, we remember a person, we remember an object, we remember a situation, something other than us. Here, remembrance of what? Nothing other than us. So that is what is called true being and existence. So unless and until this manana goes, we will not be able to capture the real meaning of the word remembrance. We will again repeat, remembrance is possible only to bring back or relive what we had previously. Suppose we taste a dish. Similarly, we say it is something like the other one. That means something we have already tasted. Here everything is other than me. Anything other than me, when I come in contact with, when I am subjected to go through, that leaves a deep impression and it gets filed in my memory, then I say, I remember. So when Papa says chanting is for remembrance, we are finding it difficult because the mind cannot search outside. It is the true being and existence, subject. It is not an object. Anything that is objectified can be brought within the ambit of remembrance. Struggling. We are trying to objectify the subject, which is now pursuing this. So there Papa gives a clue. Ramdas has already said that when we are repeating the name of God, we must be conscious that we are repeating the name of one who is within us, who is our true being and existence. We must keep this central fact in our mind when taking his name. Then the practice will gradually make us aware of his existence within us. So true being and existence.
Swamiji,
Ah,
when we forget somebody, we remember.
ah,
Because supposing in the family we are meeting the person day in and day out, in this room, other room, we are there all the time. Then there is no question of remembering.
hmm. Agreed. Here we have been asked to remember, no? The mind is asked to remember the power because of which the mind functions. The mind is directed to remember the power because of which the mind functions. Think, think why we have not
I
been.
mean, because
Huh?
we don't see, no, Swamiji, we don't see.
We don't
If
feel.
we see, we will
Ah,
remember. I mean,
because unknowingly the mind is going out to capture the. So we have to devise some method by which we try to understand the power because of which these words are coming. It's a very important word what Papa has used, because it makes us to do a lot of manana. Suppose we bring an image, of Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, we can remember. Here he says, your true being. It is for that we must keep. Ramdas has already said that when we are repeating the name of God, we must be conscious that we are repeating the name of one who is within us, who is our true being and existence. We must keep the central fact in our mind when taking his name. Then the practice will gradually make us aware of his existence within us. At the beginning, we are not aware of this, but we intellectually accept the idea that God dwells within us and we take his name. The association with him is there mentally, and it grows into an experience when we actually feel his presence by constantly hammering into the mind that God whom we aspire to see is within us, and the name we repeat is his name. So from today onwards, we will make an attempt. It cannot be explained. True being and existence cannot be explained, because even for the explanation we need the true being and existence. So we have to altogether choose a unique path. So when we chant the name, how do I get myself connected to the true being and existence? This is what he did during his 2 years' time, and he got it. We have been doing it for decades now. Though the chanting gives us some joy, though it has its impact, the real purpose of chanting, that is to remember him, is yet to take place in most of us or many of us. This is a very important point. Object of repeating the name is to purify the mind and thereby get the matter of mere intellectual acceptance, but an object of intimate and a close experience. Because of our communion with him through the name, because of our communion with him through the name becomes so perfect that gradually we lose the distinction between ourselves and him, and free from all desires and outgoing tendencies, find unity. Actually, when the light dawns on us, we feel his presence everywhere. We see a strange and pervading light wherein we can't get a straight answer. No answer can become perfect. Somebody said something? No.
Swamiji,
Ah.
Swamiji, அப்புறம் he is behind everything. He is அதுவும் நன்னா மனசு ஆத்மார்த்தமா நன்னா தெரியறது. But the true being and existence அது இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் கூடியும் தெரியல.
True being and existence சொல்ல முடியாதே. Because the true being and existence is putting this book. We don't know. Each one has to devise some method.
Yes, Swamiji.
So that means with one thought called the chanting, we try to get ourselves freed from all dissimilar thoughts
Yes, Swamiji.
by concentrating. I want to hear my own chanting. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. So when we keep on trying to hear our own chanting, all other thoughts will not be there.
Yes, Swamiji.
Then that will pave the way for the witness consciousness to emerge. We know that we are chanting. And then, who is knowing? Chanting stops. So we can take it that Papa wants us to, after a certain stage, that's why he said, utterance of God's name is to make the mind ultimately still, free from all thoughts. It is in the stillness that we know and realize God. It is in the stillness that we know and realize God. So when he says remembrance means we experience the stillness. Initially to know that initially the thoughts have to settle down and which will give us the experience. Then we come back and realize that even the very thought comes from that base. That is our true being and existence. So even while chanting, the chanting comes from that base. Now, when we make our effort, that we try to remember that our true being and existence means that the nama floats, nama emerges, nama comes from the base, our base, the stillness. Kindly think about it. We go along with his words. Whatever he has expressed, Papa has brought it out from his own experience. So first he said, utterance of God's name is to make the mind ultimately still, free from all thoughts. So first our entire attempt will be to do this inward journey. Thoughts emerge. Tries to remove all other thoughts. Yes, then when once we have tasted, we had that glimpse, next time when we chant, we become aware. These expressions are not 100% right, but that is the only way it can be conveyed, approximating to the experience. That the Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. This Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram floats, emerges from my true being and existence. So the message to all of us is, Papa is directing us, you try to develop this. It is not that easy. You try to develop this. Ramdas has already said that when we are repeating the name of God, we must be conscious that we are repeating the name of one who is within us, who is our true being and existence. Name. We have trained our mind to chant. We enjoy that chanting, but we have not touched the core of existence. So now Papa must be watching us, and when he feels that sufficiently we have trained our equipment to take to chanting, he says now for the feel, experience the core of our being. We continue to do that. At the same time, simultaneously, we now try to practice. We employ a method which is suitable for us. That means early morning when we get up, when we are relatively free for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes, we close our eyes and chant, initially vocal and then mental. Then we try to hear our own chanting. And the directions come from within to concentrate on the witness consciousness. Chanting stops. Not that we have to stop. That will give us a glimpse, a peep into our original being and existence. Immediately, the mind will not remain there, it will come back again. So we try. Every day we keep on trying. One day something will emerge. And then we chant. So that the experience of remembering our core of our crux, our core of existence, that slowly gets solidified. We would have got one glimpse for quarter of a second, a tries like this. With that, we are trying to stabilize. This is what Papa now, we can infer that this is what Papa is directing us to do that. We will again read, this is highly subjective. So far we have been doing it okay. But now Papa wants us, because the question was, when we repeat the name of God, should we do it with the sense that we are going nearer to God? Or should we do so in a sense of unity with God and with the world? Or should we do so in an attitude of surrender to God? Or should we unite all the three? So Papa answers, Ramdas has already said that when we are repeating the name of God, we must be conscious that we are repeating the name of one who is within us and who is our true being and existence. We must keep this central fact in our mind when taking his name. Slowly from the earlier exercises, Papa is now directing us to a little more subtler, little more subtler, little more subtler. So that the real purpose of chanting, which is remembrance, slowly becomes clearer and clearer to us. We now look back. When we are chanting, we are not remembering anything. We are not remembering what we are aiming to remember. It stops with that word, sound, but it has helped us a lot because during that period, to a very great extent, it is not going outside. So that battle we have almost won. And the next battle is we are looking at ourselves that though I have been chanting for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, I have not been able to feel that he is making me to think, he is making me to talk, he is making me to do. Inwardly, outwardly, I have not been able to embrace his creation. By feeling that he is there in all creation. So when we have reached that stage, this direction of Papa makes us to move further. That we have not been able to do so because we have not touched the core of our existence. Now the time is slowly approaching in for all of us to find a way by which we get linked to the core of our being and existence. This is very, very important. He clarifies it in the next sentence. We must keep the central fact in our mind. Then the practice will gradually make us aware of his existence within us. When Papa was intensely taking Ramnam during this 1920-22 period, he was becoming indifferent to all other things. One by one, he was reducing, concentrating more and more on this core of existence. Everybody became panicky. Everybody thought he has gone off the head. Everybody was worried. However much they pursued, they could not make him to stop that. Finally, one brother thought it wise because he had great reverence for his father. So, father who was then in Udupi with some other brother, he was informed that something is basically wrong with Vittal Rao. Please rush up. So he rushed up. When he reached there, when he saw Papa, he knew, because he was also an evolved person, that nothing is wrong with him. So he asked him, son, what is happening? You know what Papa answered? You remember? God makes me to chant his name. So God who is seated within, God who is the core of existence, true and being and existence, is prompting the sense of individuality to chant his name. Whose name? God's name. That is why he could stabilize. He was very clear about it. God blessed him with that experience. So now, in our case, because we are not exclusively concentrating on that, naturally there will be delay. Among so many other things, we have also included this. In his case, he has excluded everything, only concentrating on this thing. That is the difference between that period. So the idea is that now we get more and more clarity. That is why he is now bringing the word true being and existence. So when he has been repeatedly telling that chanting is for remembrance, chanting is for remembrance, chanting is for remembrance, in spite of hearing, in spite of knowing literally, we are finding it difficult to really experience that because we still feel he is an object. Unless we get over, transcend that, it is difficult. Because remembrance can come only when it is an object. Remembering an object, remembering a situation, remembering a person, remembering a stored knowledge, remembering even a spelling. Think all are outside me, So that is what is called remembrance. So here we can't apply the same yardstick because this cannot be objectified. So the power which is now bringing all these things, we are trying, that is something like, the power because of which the eye see, an object. That power cannot be seen with the eyes. The power because of which the eye see an object, that power cannot be seen with the eyes. Similarly, the power to remember him cannot be remembered with the equipment. So how do I do that? Then he answers, utterance of God's name is to make the mind ultimately still, free from all thoughts. It is in the stillness that you know and realize God. So probably when we join these two, we might get some idea. Straight away we may not be able to. So we keep on trying now. Every day we set apart some time every day in the morning, or preferably in the morning when the mind is relatively passive, quiet, not it is fresh, not carrying any immediate involvement. Even if it is for 5 minutes, we make a trial. We chant, we try to mentally chant, we try to mentally hear. When we have succeeded in that, the witness consciousness will emerge. We know that we are chanting. Who is knowing and who is chanting? Chanting stops. We get a glimpse. Again we try, again we try, again we try. By the time 5 minutes are over, our pressing calls are, forget about it. But the proportionate to the intensity or commitment to know this is there in our heart. Whenever any opportunity comes, we will try, we will try, we will try. But the next day, the dent will be there. That is why he said gradually. The word he has used gradually because he knows it may not be possible for all of us. He has also struggled. At the beginning, we are not aware of this. Then the practice will gradually make us aware of his existence. At the beginning, we are not aware of this, but we intellectually accept the idea that God dwells within, and then we take his name. The association with him is there mentally, and it grows into an experience when we actually feel his presence. By constantly hammering into the mind that God whom we aspire to see is within us, and that the name we repeat is his name. It is highly subjective, so we have to do the pondering, reflecting, contemplating, meditating. And to make this journey more and more effective, we should also ensure that whatever we do during our non-chanting time, family life, professional life, social life, we try to ensure that these are in line with that. Here again, Papa's words, outer activity should be compatible with inner aspiration. Inner aspiration is to feel his presence. So when I handle all family matters, when I move to the field of profession, When I move with my friends, this should be there in my mind. If I become self centered, self assertive, enforcing my rights and wrongs, my likes and dislikes, I am right, you are wrong, if that unknowingly, unwittingly, if we develop, we will not be able to progress. Because when we sit, all these things will boomerang. So even during the non-chanting time, because we have found out else a few days back, even during the non-chanting time, he is there very much. Chanting is an exercise by which we are trying to feel his presence. It is not that during the chanting time he is there. During the chanting time and non-chanting time, he is with us, he has been with us. So during the non-chanting time, what we do matters much because our chanting time is negligible. Of the 16 or 18 hours, at best, at home, probably we may be spending about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or half an hour. When we go to ashram, probably we may spend 2 or 3 hours at best. Bas. Rest of the time, non-chanting time. So what we do during the non-chanting time, if it is not in line with this, our progress will be slow. That means the mind is always agitated. The mind will always, it will refuse, it always asserts its rights and wrongs. And with that curtain, we cannot remove that curtain to see who is behind the curtain. So this is also very important. So that means this discipline has to be with us throughout, whether we are chanting or non-chanting. A regulated life. That quotation is beautiful. Outer activity should be compatible with inner aspiration. Right from the moment we get up, we are a part of the family being. And then after our bath and everything, we go to the field of profession. Then we become a professional being. If we are retired, then we don't go to the field of profession, but something will be there to attend to. We will not be, even after retirement, even the devotees may not find it easy to spend as much time to remember him. In very rare cases, that happens, that's all. Because the vasanas that we have accumulated during our period of employment, they have their own influence on us. And then, with our friends, when we move, there also all these things will be there. So every time I have to be alert. So these are all the things that are emerging now. Initially, Ramnam helps us to develop a taste for Ramnam. Then, during that period, time of chanting, we are relatively released from or relieved from outer objects to a very great extent. But the moment the chanting session stops, I find I am back to square one. That means all my things are intact, nothing changes. That means it is limited only during that particular period. And when we have reached that stage, when we are struggling, then Papa answers that you should chant with the feeling that you are chanting the name of one who is within you, who is your true existence. What is that word? True being and existence. Our real being. Since it is not an object, we cannot employ the usual method. We have to devise a altogether different method. So now we understand what is meant by remembrance, intellectually. With that background, we now pursue our exercise. Is it becoming clear?
Yes, Swamiji, somewhat. கொஞ்சம் புரியுற மாதிரி தான் இருக்கு.
புரியற மாதிரி இருக்கு.
Swamiji, later after the session is over, can we try? We are not getting results from you.
Can we say that we are not doing the homework?
Maybe Swamiji, right?
That is there. So
But
we have
early morning we try every day remembering
the
what
teacher,
we have said.
the teacher takes the class. We go. Suppose we don't do the homework. Whatever we have heard during that period, if we are trying to remember, then only we will do that. Otherwise, that is why we are given homework, Whatever we have heard has to be assimilated and become part of our being. Homework is not merely to show it next day. Homework is intended so that whatever that has happened, transpired between the teacher and the taught through the text, that is being once again gone through, so that something gets assimilated, absorbed into our being, which will be the basis for the next day's teaching. So similarly, when we hear these things, suppose we leave it and only come day after tomorrow for the next Google Meet, naturally it will be like that, no? The same thing goes on. So when the moment, if the inner prompting is there to proceed further, we will try, We will devise some method by which this is made a reality from a conceptual level to a reality level.
Yes, Swami.
Swamiji, we will try.
We keep on trying. We may fail, we may forget. Don't worry. We keep on trying.
Yes, Swami.
And one thing is assured, that the moment we step into this path with all earnestness, He will guide us from within. Mysteriously, He will guide us. Go to with my master. Who wants realization? Last part. If you take one step, Ramdas will take 10 steps. He assures. Here Ramdas does not mean that person, no? Everybody can experience that. The moment you step into this with all earnestness, I must. Come what may, I must. If this conviction is strong, mysteriously the guidance will come from within. Get me that book, I will show you. Can I do this? Yes.
Yes, Swamiji.
When will I realize God?
Yes, Swamiji.
When this question was asked, Papa said, "You are already God. You have to only realize."
No, Swami, I want this.
No. What he means is that it is not something to be God from outside. That is the word realization. We have to do some exercise, We have to do some sadhana, something that makes us to go towards Him.
Yeah, but I've seen a lot of sadhakas failing and
Struggling.
I'm not even doing.
We have to.
I can't even compare myself to those sadhakas who do so much. Mine is zero compared to them. So sometimes I feel I will never realize God.
Here,
Swamiji, last paragraph.
Having heard the pain-tinged voice of Papa, the impression of a new Papa became embedded in my mind. A Papa whose love, a Papa who anguished, okay? No, not that. Yes, Papa. Not that.
Okay, first step. Take the first step. Ramdas cannot act in such a fashion with everybody.
Papa must show God to them. That is what they say. Oh yes, Papa would be only happy to show God to them. But they must have eyes to see. How can Papa, with all the goodwill on earth, show them God when their eyes are set only on worldly pleasures? There are limits to even what a Papa can do. Papa himself is telling. He cannot catch hold of their tufts of their hair, turn their faces in the direction of God. Though in one or two cases, because of Ram's prompting, Ramdas has even gone to these limits to bring some by force. But those were rare cases. Ramdas cannot act in such a fashion in everybody's case. They must show some inclination at least to want to, show some desire to see God, and Ramdas will do the rest. He tells them, but even this desire is absent. When there is so much wealth to be garnered, so much fineries to be worn, so many cinemas to be seen, who has time for God? But someday they too will realize what they have been missing in their life all along. Ram will give them that realization, sooner or later. Till then, they are destined to go through all the cycles of pressure and pain, ups and downs. Rams will be done. Ramdas for them all the hurdles, stumbling stones. They will take the first step when Ram prompts them. Whether this happened when Ramdas is here, clearly says, show some desire to seek God. Are we seeking God? That is the person. They are there, no? So that is the struggle. So first of all, this aspiration, how to make the aspiration intense, more and more becoming a problem and trying to reduce the dominance of me and mine. These are this is what we see from the biographies of masters. We go to them, we are definitely influenced by them, but it does not. So that is why every now and then we have to keep on. The satsang is like that, not that personal. Satsang is, I mean, then real satsang is to always talk to him, commune with him. So we went through bhajan, through Nam, through Sadhyay, through darshan. Okay, anything that is. But ultimately, I should know that he is within. He is within. He is the one who is making me to function as an individual. To remember that, there are so many methods prescribed by so many Mahatmas after scaling the height. So he has placed before us this Nam Seva Dhyan. We have to find out whether it is okay for us. If it itself is a blessing to ask that question, then which makes me unaware that I am God. So I should then start undressing, removing one by one, one by one. All my conditionings I have to keep on. I should be free from all conditioning, which prohibits me, denies me from knowing my real nature. We have to. That is why he said, know who you are in reality is the real question. Relationship with others, position, so many things, the me and mine image. So Papa wants us to know who you are in reality is the real question. And then to arrive at this truth, you have to, by a systematized process of thought and discipline, transcend all human limitation set by the body, mind, intellect, and then embarking on the realm of the spirit, realize your immortal, changeless, blissful nature. So we have to put ourselves on a systematized process of thought and discipline, suiting to our equipment. We can't follow anybody. We have to devise. And he will make us know that we are on the path. And how to reach there quickly. That also he will give. But this instead of playing there, we have to recede from the playground and then ask these questions and do this systematized process of thought and discipline.
When do I know that heart?
Too hard, but that too. Because he says, to enter into the origin. Then we try to at least intellectually realize that he is the actuator. He, that spirit is the actuator, the originator.
But he's not doing anything.
He is doing.
I don't see it.
He is doing. He is the power. You are talking because of the power. If the power is withdrawn, if I switch off, if the electricity connection is switched off, the bulb cannot function. Fan cannot function. So the moment it is on, it functions. Though electricity is not palpable or tangible, we cannot show, but it is there, because of which all these gadgets are functioning. Similarly, he is that power, the one power, life force, whatever you call it. That is there, that is why the individuality is floating. But the individuality has forgotten that it draws the power to exist from him and feels, unknowingly arrogates that it is absolute. But because of God's mercy on us, he makes us to draw us to himself. That is why we are all sitting here. Otherwise, we could have spent the time in something else. So that itself, Papa used to clearly mention, the very fact that we want to do sadhana has come because his grace has been opened up in us. So let us try to make use of this, rather than telling that we are all his children, so we are not, we have never been condemned by anybody, we are not a waste, we are not useless, because we are his children. So we have to claim our right, Oh, I am your child, but why are you making me unaware of your presence? You claim your right. And keep on claiming the right in whatever way he prompts you from within. This is a very, very important topic today. It has been raised. So we should not leave it. Then only we will be able to move further. Rest assured, he is holding our hand. Otherwise, we will not be able to get this. This particular portion is there in some other books. God, in so many we have called out. So that the moment you start reading it, chanting is a password. The password is trusted. Then we started chanting. He made us to develop a taste. But at the same time, we feel we are there where we started. Now we have to improve our thing. How to make it more and more effective so that I become closer to him. And I are behind our thought, word, and deed. And the moment we become aware, so these are all the things, when he says, becoming aware of his presence, of universal love and service. So when he inaugurated this ashram on 15th May 1931, these are the words he used. The ideal of the ashram is universal love and service based upon the vision of divinity in everybody. For that he gave us the name. This should not be forgotten, should not be lost sight of. It is for that purpose we are chanting. How to come out of my me and mine, and then automatically what happens? I become one with the creation. It may be a tall order now because I have not equipped myself. So elsewhere he answers, you put yourself on a systematized process of thought and discipline. Tomorrow is
Tomorrow is Tuesday.
day after tomorrow. We will be traveling, so we may not be able to have the satsang. I think for the next up to the first third, we have a break. We are going to Rishikesh. We are not sure whether it will be possible for us. So safe side, we will say after coming back on third, fourth we will try.
Fourth is Tuesday, Swamiji.
Hmm?
Fourth is Tuesday. Fifth is Wednesday.
Fifth, okay, fifth we will have. And we have got now ample time to go through this again and again. If we leave like that, naturally, we may not be able to connect. But if we try to pursue in the next 10 days or 5 days,
So we will pray to Papa.
keep on praying. Sharma said, how to go within, that is a tough. Yeah, it is a tough fetch, no doubt. So we try. Everything we have learned only by repeatedly trying, right from our childhood. Nothing has come to us just like that. Everything we have done only by repeatedly trying. Everything we have done, achieved, whatever we feel we have achieved, it is all because of that. It did not come straight and occupied us. No. We paid for it and we earned it. With all earnestness. Hari Om. Rama Om. Shri Ram. Jai Ram. Jai Jai Rama Om. Shri Ram.